What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I am going to be looking at another game I haven't played in a straight minute. Need for Speed Payback, y'all. What do you think about it? Playing this game in 2024, I think this game is, what is it, 5 years old now? 6 years old? Something like that? I guess. I know this game isn't new, that's for sure. And oh yeah, I forgot there's like racers that do that. Nonetheless, though, looking at the game right now, guys, it is kind of weird being back on Payback. I was a big fan of the game when it came out. Don't hate me on that. I'm actually going to do another video about this game probably in the coming weeks here, going over if this is the worst Need for Speed game ever. Stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, though, I did want to jump on here and do a few things and talk about this. Playing this game in 2024, and I have to admit right off the bat, I don't remember the map being this, well, I guess it's not the biggest Need for Speed map ever. Let me know in the comments below, guys, which Need for Speed game had the biggest map. I would like to know your thoughts on that one. Where am I on this map? That ain't me. Nope, that's... Yeah, I'm not NASM, that's for sure. Oh, there I am. Okay, so I am actually the green one right there. First thing I do want to head over to is going to be the tune-up shop, which is probably one of the biggest things in the entire game that most people weren't a big fan of. That is going to be the cards, which I do think in some way was going to be like a type of like almost like a lottery system of getting the right card with the right roll on it. Probably not the best way to do it, man. Bro, I am going to apologize in advance for me not being able to drive. This is going to be something. Not really used to the handling of this game after playing Drive Club before. I've been playing a lot of Need for Speed Heat. Stay tuned for a lot more videos on that game. I am going to be doing a lot more videos on Heat. I am, for some reason, really enjoying that game over Unbound. But I did want to head over to the tune-up shop, though, and take a quick look at that because it has been a straight minute. I do know I also have a lot of vehicles in this game maxed out because I did play it way too much. I have $8 million. But do not worry, though. I think I have like 70 cars in the game, guys. Like, I did play this a bit too much. I do know back in the day, a lot of players can argue that it wasn't the best Need for Speed game ever. And I would also say a lot of people didn't like it. Okay, so here is the thing a lot of players didn't like. Now, a lot of people might argue that, yeah, you could probably get like a good roll, but most of the time it is probably going to be incredibly RNG based. One of the issues with this, though, is you can't buy some of these. Apparently, it like resets on like a regular timeline or something, which I would say is incredibly RNG. Like, for example, that's actually a pretty decent one. I might as well buy that and add that to something that I don't need, even though a lot of the ones were actually gold that were better. The way you actually had to do this, though, is you basically had to go in and probably get better ones and also get good RNG on them. So you guys will see right here that I have like green, gold, like different colored ones and all that for the different parts and stuff like that. But you also had to get like nitro, speed, brakes, jump, and all that good stuff. And it was probably pretty annoying to get it. Like, you had to get a good roll. You could spend a crazy amount of money on them. And here was the other issue. So currently I do have 4 of those weird things right now, so I can buy a few of them. And the way this worked, though, if you're not familiar with it, is you basically had to go through and pick like gearbox, exhaust. You can also pick like the brand you actually wanted and the perk pool like nitrous or even like acceleration. The issue with this, though, is you actually can only do one category at a time when doing it. So, for example, you'd have to do a random part that would get speed, the brand would be random, and the exhaust or like the ECU or stuff like that would be random on the part you would get. So I did want to actually do a quick roll on this, guys. It costs 3. I only get 1 of them. So, for example, right now, let's do eeny, meeny, miny. Let's see. Let's just do a gearbox. Let's hit roll here. It's going to be random on the other 2 that you get. Let's see what it gives me here. So it's now legit going to be a lottery system. I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. So I got brakes and carbon, and it also had like the 1 perk on it. Obviously going to be worse than my other one, so now I'm going to trade that one in. Get 1 part token back from spending 3 on it. And you're probably going to see a pretty annoying thing here that you'll have to deal with. To be honest, guys, I would almost say a lot of players definitely weren't the biggest fan of this. It's legit like a lottery system. You pretty much have to get incredibly lucky. And don't get me wrong, I do have a lot of vehicles in the game maxed out with really good builds on them, and I would almost say that's going to take way too dang long to actually do it. Do not worry, though, I do actually want to do an event here in the lovely Koenigsegg Regera. Then I also want to jump into one of my favorite off-road vehicles in the game, which is the Bel Air. So spawning into the mini-map here, moving over to the events, I did actually want to do the time trial over here. I remember this event. 37 grand's pretty decent. Let's see how I can do on it. I'm sure my driving on this game is not going to be up to par because I have not played this game in, I honestly don't even know. But one thing I really do have to say confidently though is I have to give it to Need for Speed guys with the atmosphere of these games. Like I do know a lot of players didn't like this game. I'm going to go more into that in the actual video where I say it's like the worst game ever, or people at least think it was anyway. But let's head over to the event here and actually see how this was. I do not even remember how the races in this game even were, so let's do this here. So start, I guess. I guess you don't have to hold it. Don't hit any vehicles. I forgot you could do that. Let's accept it. So I guess you're going to get some money from it, which is kind of cool. I like the betting system in there. It wasn't like Unbound. Unbound was honestly pretty backwards how it was. You actually had to pay into the events. You barely get any money back, which in return of that actually made grinding out money and stuff an absolute nightmare. And my goodness, let's see how I can drive here. Oh, it's not a good start, buddy. Oh, it's not a good start. Okay, did not mind the drifting thing there. Let's hit my nitrous a bit. Oh, nitrous works pretty nicely. Give me a second here, guys. I think I'll do pretty decent once I drive a bit here. Now, I do admit right now, the graphics in Unbound were honestly pretty decent. Like, I'm not hating on them. I do know you're basically racing like another version of Las Vegas or like Nevada. So it's going to be like pretty much a desert, to where you'd basically be taking the entire thing of driving through a desert with a horse with no name to an entirely new level. And, oh, dude, this is something. I do say that right now. Time extended. You ain't kidding, bro, because right now I'm going to need the entire thing on it. Funnily enough, I also failed the challenge already because I immediately crashed my car. And what's kind of funny about this, though, is what's kind of funny about this, though, is being back on this game. I have not legit played this game in years, and for some odd reason, I jumped back into the pretty fastest car in the entire game. The pretty fastest car? Nah, bro, it is the fastest car, at least I think it is anyway, back in the day of this game. And for some odd reason, bro, I want y'all to bear with me for a second because this is some of the worst driving I have ever done. Then again, I'm not entirely used to handling on this game after playing Heat and also Drive Club, and then jumping on Unbound for a bit. I also jumped on Need for Speed 2015, expect some videos from that game as well. And you know what's also kind of funny about Need for Speed Payback, though, is I do remember basically pre-ordering this game back in the day for the bigger edition. I know you're probably going to hate on me in the comments for that because you shouldn't pre-order the games because it makes them, bad or something, which honestly, I can't really argue that. A lot of games you'd pre-order, you get the final product, and you're like, bro, what in the world is this thing? Like, seriously, I don't know what I'm playing right now, but this is not the final. Was that car not in the lane correctly, or am I tripping right now? I don't think it was. I keep getting time extended because I literally don't know how to drive, guys, so bear with me. Now, I don't know why I actually picked a time trial because there's regular races, which for the off-road event that I do, I am going to run the Bel Air in that one. I most likely will do a race for that because I think it will be a bit more fun with the AI and stuff. But overall, guys, I do want to know something, by the way, in the comments. Did you actually like Payback? Like, seriously. Did you like the game? Did you like the atmosphere? I'm probably going to go more in-depth with this in the other video, but I just feel like this game got a lot of hate back in the day. I really can't blame you. One of the biggest issues with me, I would say, is probably going to come down to the fact of how the map was designed. Like, I felt like it was kind of dull. Wasn't really the biggest fan of it. Like, I did like the way the cars drove. It had a nice or like a decent car list to it. And oh, dude, that was not how you drive, brother. Just take my license away right now. This ain't it. And I'm actually saying take my license away, even though I was already driving on the wrong side of the road doing close to 200 miles an hour. I am losing my license without hitting the car regardless, but here's the end of it. Hit the nitrous. This is not like Heat, where you just touch the nitrous and it goes. Oh, my goodness. Help me, Guardian. Okay, let's go to the finish line. That was the race, guys. Wasn't the cleanest race ever, that's for sure. Now I'm going to jump into an off-road vehicle and see how the off-roading was. So before I do one of the off-road events here with the Bel Air, there is one thing I did want to show you guys. So the first thing, you're going to notice right away that the 0 to 60 is 1.5 seconds on this thing, bro. That is legit insane. So here's the current card setup on the vehicle if you are wondering. I legit probably played this game a bit too much back in the day, but this thing legit does 1.5 seconds. Insanely enough, I think you can actually get it lower. I do think if you actually mess around with it, I believe you can get it to maybe, actually I think it was this one. If you actually get a better card there and you have acceleration on all of them, I think you can get it to like 1.35 or something. Legit faster than any Tesla you would ever see anywhere. And funnily enough, it's going to be a lifted Bel Air. Imagine a heavy Bel Air doing 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds, guys. That would be pretty terrifying. That would legit be like someone's upgraded refrigerator coming after you on a really nice Sunday evening. You're most likely not going to get the drink you wanted, but let's leave the garage here. go through a pretty quick loading screen because we are offline. Yay, the offline and the online separated. Who knew that was so good for a game, having them separated, brother? Okay, let's see here. So, events. Now, I don't remember the name of that race. Was it this one? That's a time trial. I did one of those. Off-road sprint race. Now we're talking, bro. Let's head that way. So let's take a nice little stroll up some dirt roads up to that direction. Now, I do got to remember, shifting is triangle and squares down shifting, right? Yes, it is. Okay, so I got that down. Also, guys, let me know, when you guys are shifting and stuff on console, what is your preferred button layout? Like, would you rather do L1 and R1, which is something I normally do when I actually play racing games, or would you rather have triangle and square, like triangle and circle? Not really sure how I feel about that. Oh, wait, this is triangle and circle, so I was actually hitting my E-brake there. Oh, it's been a minute, hasn't it, bro? Now, if I do remember correctly, though, I actually thought the off-roading in this game was actually fairly decent. It has been a minute, so I can't really judge it yet until I get into that event. And if I can stop running into every single car, that would be pretty dope. That would probably help me. And you know what would also help Blocked? If you would actually shift through your gears there, buddy, instead of just redlining the car in third. Because that's not going to help much. If I do remember correctly, though, I actually think shifting down and stuff like that, or even shifting up with certain cars in this game, was probably like a better way to actually be in manual, or at least, you know, being faster in manual. I feel like that's a pretty interesting argument. Do you guys actually think being in manual is faster than automatic? Like, seriously, let me know your thoughts. I feel like yes, and I guess depending on the car, like, for example, with the Regera, you obviously can't shift through the gears on that thing because it's, one gear, so you can't really shift that thing into Drive 2 or Drive Plus, and then speed that thing up into something else that doesn't exist, which would make no sense. But I also do feel like a lot of players can argue that driving something like a manual vehicle is quicker. Personally, I would probably have to go with that. Like, I feel like if you can shift cars right, or at least get used to it, I really do feel like it's probably going to be much better. Is this the event I'm looking for, bro? And is that is the one, I believe. So I arrived at my destination. Okay, so let's hit this one here. Drive up. Start it up. Dude got a Subaru WRX. What? A Subaru? Oh my goodness. You mean that's a Need for Speed? Yeah, I'm just kidding here. Drift continuously for 328 yards. No. Now, one thing I do remember from this game, I could be wrong here, but I do actually think some of the off-roading was actually a bit slower, like, overall, like, compared to driving. What are you all doing to me, bro? Dude, you're just gonna do Bob like that, bro? Bobby is not gonna enjoy that, dude. Bob Lee Swagger about to pop up here. That dude's name is Peach. What am I, on Mario right now? This is something. Now, one thing I do remember, though, guys, about this game is I do feel like driving on, like, off-road areas and stuff like that wasn't the funnest. Now, let me explain why. Dude. What are y'all doing out here, bro? What am I doing? Is a better question. Oh, now I'm doing donuts. This is about to sound like that one scene from Little Man in a minute where I'm doing donuts with a boot on my vehicle. Don't worry, guys. I am a new driver. Give me a second here. I am really struggling right now with the Bel Air. But I do feel like a lot of the off-roading in this game probably was down to the fact of some of the cars being quick, or, you know, some of the cars not being fast enough. What is going on right now? I'm not going to lie here, this is not what I had in mind for this event. I actually think it might have picked a pretty bad race to jump myself into. Embarrass myself against everybody, so I can go catch up to them, though. Okay, I'm getting a little better at turning, kind of getting used to that. You know what would help? If I start shifting my gears up a little bit and downshifting in certain corners would probably help my speed. Come here. Yeah, Forrest, you can't compete with me, boy. Oh, yeah, shift, blocked. What are you doing, buddy? Keep your gears up. Who's that? Who's that? Oh, that's Cletus. Oh, from GTA, that's Cletus? Oh, I bet. If I can actually drive. I got 1.9 miles, bro. Can I win this? I'd probably win this if I... I drove through that rock, didn't I? At this rate, guys, I don't think I'm gonna win this, bro. I'm having issues right now. This is... Oh my gosh, Cletus. Maybe I'm not the only one that can't drive, apparently. So I can go catch up to Forrest. Come here, Forrest Gump. I got 1.4 miles, dude. Oh, look, Fast and Furious out here again. It's kind of funny because I do remember that. So right here, I do remember, like, the off-roading being, like, limited to a certain speed in the vehicle, which personally I never understood why it was like that. And, oh, dude, this... I think this race is going as bad as I thought it is. I might have to do another off-road event because this is not at all what I had in mind. Hit that nitrous, bro. Oh, dude, even the NPCs cheat? Okay, we're on to something now. Now, I would almost guarantee that it's not going to be a shock to anybody that I obviously didn't win that race. I managed to get second even though that was some of the worst driving ever. I probably should have drove the Panamera. That car was a lot better than this one. I also do not know why they actually cap the speed of like off-road vehicles. Like, look at this. I can't go any faster, even though I'm in an off-road vehicle with a lift kit. Off-road tires, and you get on like the dirt road. I think you could go a little bit quicker on these, like 137 or something like that. Overall, though, guys, I would say revisiting Payback in 2024 is pretty different. And, you know, the other thing I did want to mention, though, is I don't honestly know if I would actually play this Need for Speed game over some of the other ones. Like, if you had to play Need for Speed Payback or Unbound, like, which one would you choose? Well, I would probably pick Unbound over this one, but if I'm being honest, I would most likely pick Heat over all of them, which I am going to make a video about that. And I'm definitely going to be doing, like, Payback versus Heat, or even like Unbound versus 2015 and stuff like that, 2015 versus Heat. So do stay tuned for those videos, guys. But overall, though, guys, I would like to know your thoughts on Payback in the comments below. What did you guys actually think about this game, and would you actually revisit this game in 2024? I would probably say a lot of people might jump back on and give it a shot, or, you know, at least jump onto the game and probably play it again to see how Payback was back in 2017, I think it was. And I am doing another video on Payback, most likely coming out in the coming weeks, guys, so do stay tuned for that one, going over if this truly was the worst Need for Speed recently.